The Nats with an 8-2 trip rolling toward the playoffs. 11-3 over the last 2 weeks, including a division-clinching win on their rivals' home field. Today, they look to finish a 4-game sweep of the Marlins and wrap up the road schedule in style. Yeah, getting away no more. The Nats are on their way home tonight. They've got some Curly W support in South Florida. Looking to sweep a 4-game series, always a tough thing to do, especially in your division where everybody knows everybody. By the way, that's FP and I'm Bob. We remember each other because this is our last road regular season game of the year. Hard to believe it's coming to an end, and what an end it is.
It's been a great road trip, arguably the best road trip of the year. I'll still take the 2 out of 3 in Seattle and the 2 out of 3 in Los Angeles over this one, but there were some special moments in this trip that weren't in that West Coast swing. One, maybe like pouring champagne on everybody's head, and we go back to Tuesday in Atlanta where it was just the big party. You know, Monday was New Year's Eve, Tuesday was New Year's Day, and Ian Desmond got it all started with one of the longer home runs of the year to put the Nats up 2-0.
Yeah, maybe the most dramatic home run of Ian Desmond's career. I mean, he absolutely crushed the ball. And then the bullpen doing what the bullpen does, and Drew Storen, spectacular for the last 2 weeks.
He's been locked in. The confidence level for Drew is just off the charts. A nice save last night, the big save right there, and then the toast from Matt Williams in the clubhouse, and firefighter Bryce going nuts with the rest of his teammates.
So the Nats on their way to Miami from Atlanta. They've got a chance to win 45 games on the road if they can take this one today. Ryan Zimmerman not in the lineup, but a dramatic return last night. The guy steps right out of Vieira into Miami, gets a couple of knocks.
He steps out of bed and gets a couple of knocks. Hitters can hit, and Ryan Zimmerman made the game look easy, folks. It's not this easy to miss as much time as he had to get back in a uniform last night and put on a hitting display. Like, he didn't miss a beat. First time up, base hit to right. Third time up, a triple in right field. And the last thing you thought you were going to see is a Ryan Zimmerman triple. Maybe shouldn't have made this decision. This was on his own right here to go to the plate on a contact play. Saw the chopper off the bat. And that's what I said was going to be the challenge for him and his hamstring. The reactionary plays. And right there, the chopper off the plate. He just reacted and went home. He came out of it okay. His hamstring's a little sore today. And I think all in all, a good performance, to say the least, for Ryan last night.
Ryan, in his straightforward, humble way, said, yeah, I probably made a bad decision last night, but he did tell me he feels great. A good day for a day off. He's got some soreness, but it's a good sore from playing a ball game. Strasburg going to pitch a game today, and he's looking forward to getting number 13. His 33rd start. He's tied in the National League in starts for number 1. He has the most strikeouts, 230. We are seeing the ace Strasburg that we have been waiting for a long time. Marlins have their hands full with him today. Together some Cuban sandwiches in a hurry. Somebody is doing the last-minute thing before first pitch here. Onto the grill and onto another one.
I must say there was some Cuban coffee involved in that process.
That guy could turn some double plays with those hands.
Yeah.
Well done, sir. And well done Monday for Steven Strasburg at Atlanta. 4-2 win. 5 hits, 7 innings of shutout ball. You know, that whole Tuesday thing doesn't happen on time if he doesn't do this on Monday.
Yeah, great call, and put all those demons to bed in Atlanta. And as good as I've seen him the last 4 starts with the numbers he's put up, and the average fastball going up at the end of the season. By the way, the Braves 4-13 in the month of September. Just thought I'd throw that in there as Freddie Freeman breaks his bat. They're frustrated. Steven Strasburg's not. He's been pitching as good as we've ever seen him. Look at the last 4 starts, 28 strikeouts, no walks, and a pretty good ERA.
And then at the back end of this Nationals pitching staff in the bullpen, Drew Storen's been fantastic. No runs, 7 1/3 his last 8 games, all saves, 20 appearances without a run. Get it to that guy. We're going home with a W. PNC Bank for the achiever in you. Look at that extension by Jason Worth. The Nats have a bunch of guys getting the day off today. Worth, Zimmerman, Ramos, Desmond, and Span. So the lineup will look a little different here at Marlins Park. Visit trainsearch.com. Find your local Train Comfort Specialist dealer. Hard to stop a train, really hard. 88 muggy, cloudy outside. 76 degrees under the lights inside Marlins Park. So here's your lineup, a little bit different. Anthony Rendon, he's the leadoff guy today. And then Cabrera, Bryce Harper back in there. And Rendon's had a fantastic year. In this series, 3 for 12 with a walk and 2 runs. Anthony hitting .342 over his last 19 games. So a start for Franzen, Espinoza, Lobaton, and Scherholtz. 5, 6, 7, and 8. And the Nats will take on Nathan Eovaldi. The live arm, he can throw hard, he's still young, but command the problem.
2 of the most powerful arms in Major League Baseball going toe-to-toe today. Over the last 3 seasons since 2012, Nathan Eovaldi's fastballs averaged 95.4 miles an hour. Steven Strasburg's 95.2. Those are the 2 highest average fastballs since 2012. So let's get it on and see some heat here in South Florida. Set the defense for the Marlins behind Eovaldi. Yelich, Ozuna, Hernandez. The outfield, Echeverria, McGee, left side, Solano, Bohr, right side, and Jared Saltalamacchia back behind the dish.
17th year in the big leagues for Paul Schreiber, who has the plate. Alfonso Marquez, first base. There's Ted Barrett, the crew chief, at second, and Chad Fairchild, third base. The Nats have won the season series from Miami. Well, they would have to lose 5 in a row to lose it. Thinking they'll win at least a couple of games against the Marlins next week, and right now it's 9-5, 6-3 here.
Look who's Larry leadoff today.
Yeah, his name is Anthony, and he has 170 hits. A lot of leadoff guys haven't done that. And we're underway, right on time at 1:10. Rendon career against Eovaldi, 4 for 12 with a pair of walks. 94. Anthony steps in at 285. A little bit away. We're told that a key to Eovaldi, keep an eye on him early in the game, where the catcher's glove is set up and then where the ball ends up. Been a lot of target practice missed lately. That one pretty good, 2-2.
Lots of colors going on right there. He's got the yellow fingertips, orange jersey, black and blue chest protector.
And Rendon with a couple of hops out to Echeverria, and he just got it there in time. Nats, after trailing in the 6th this year, the most wins in Major League Baseball with more than a dozen. Steven Strasburg, his control impeccable over his last, well, really 3 complete ball games or so. And the Marlins, 3.46 ERA here at home. They're at 3.82 overall, and they should be down there because of the size of this ballpark. And next year, if they get all their young horses and keep them healthy, that number will go way down.
3rd lowest in team history. It's the 3rd year of this ballpark.
So it's gone down a little bit every year. Well, I think next year we'll be saying the lowest in the 4 years.
Attitude
Florida
nation.
chapter, I like it. Cabrera in the series, 2 RBIs, 3 for 12. Huge triple last night that bailed out that inning, got the game tied, and then made it possible for Span to give the Nationals the lead. Asdrubal facing Eovaldi for the first time. Hard-breaking ball down and in for the strikeout. 134 Ks on the year, gets 40 walks.
Well, there's the slider from Eovaldi. Starts it middle in, breaks it off the plate. Good pitch under the hands of Cabrera.
Power matchup here. Bryce Harper, 3 for 7 against him career with a base on balls. Bryce didn't play last night in the series. He's 3 for 9. Actually, 3 for 9 and then 3 for 7 against Eovaldi. And batting .270, just under 300 his last 35 games. Out to left center, it'll drop. Harper's going to round the bag, and Yelich gets it back in. The Nationals get a base runner for the first inning. Artist himself, Adam LaRoche.
Well, for the last time on the road in the regular season, there goes the no-hitter. Little two-seam fastball running back right down the middle. Bryce Harper keeping his hands inside, thinking about the other way. Barrel's overrated, and there's lots of space in this ballpark for base hits to drop, and he'll take it.
Here's Adam LaRoche. One big hit in this series. First inning home run Friday night. And against Eovaldi, he has really hurt the right-hander. 6 for 13 with a home run, 5 RBIs. He's given up 14 home runs this year.
Should I talk about the friendly debate I had with our friend next door on the air, or should we leave it off the air?
Well, I do believe it's on the air now. You and Tommy Hutton arguing about Yelich and Harper. Huh?
Yes, we had a friendly debate before the game today about who we'd take in a Bryce Harper versus Christian Yelich.
Adam LaRoche hits that ball high and deep to center. Marcell Ozuna will throw it to Yelich. More on the Santangelo Hutton debates. Probably better than anything you'll hear in November.
They're huge waves.
Net sound and everything. Yeah, that was some of the surfing waves our crew mastered over the weekend.
If you're an ant, that's a tsunami.
Our version of a babbling brook here in South Florida. Marcell Ozuna, as you look at the Marlins lineup. 25 doubles, 5 triples, 23 home runs. So the young guy is a star in the making at his age. He's only 23. He's 10th in the league in home runs and 10th in RBIs as well. And next year with Giancarlo Stanton around him, Casey McGee, maybe some of the money the Marlins might spend, they might be formidable. They take on a tough power guy today.
Yeah, last start for Steven, he threw the fastball 66% of the time, 95.4 miles an hour. Curveball 81, changeup 89. And it was a big start. 7 shutout innings, 5 hits against the Braves, struck out 7 of those guys, walked nobody through 90 pitches, 58 for strikes. 12th win of the year for Strasburg.
Here's another one of the Marlins' young building blocks, 22-year-old outfielder Christian Yelich. All right, so you brought it up.
Well, you know
you and Tommy Hutton.
You know I like Christian Yelich. I think he's a good player.
Love him.
I think he's a solid baseball player. He's going to be around for years. But we got in a friendly debate of who I would take, and I think Nats fans know who I'd take. Bryce is a game changer. He's a guy that has a chance to be a number 3 hitter and an impact player for a long time at the major league level. And Christian Yelich is a solid player and a very good player. But I don't know that he's a game changer like Bryce is. And that was my argument.
Yeah. Yelich takes one in there, 95 from Strasburg to start off his afternoon.
And so far, I'm absolutely right.
Quit looking over there.
As I look next door to the booth.
It's too early. Don't be taunting yet. Oh, boy. Making friends on the road, that's what it's all about here on Masson.
I just rung them up. We have clear windows here, and they can see next door.
Starters have been outstanding, by the way.
Rip the pages.
Donovan Solano looking for his first base hit of this series. And Strasburg misses inside. Jonathan's kid brother has had 3 career hits, a couple of RBIs against Steven, who quite honestly has had some of his rougher starts on the road in this ballpark, most notably about a year and a half ago. But the road doesn't seem to be making any difference to him these days.
But just tying it all up, that's what makes this game so great. That you can sit there and have a friendly discussion about who you think's a better player on what team and what team you think is better, and who's going to win this, who's going to win that, who's going to be around longer. I love to talk baseball with anybody.
Yeah,
that's what makes this game so amazing.
Well, they get to see their guy every day, and we don't, and vice versa. We just need Bryce to stay on the field for a couple of entire seasons, and then the numbers will take care of themselves. So on 4 pitches, a rare Strasburg these days walk.
Yeah, first walk and 4 starts for Steven. There's your defense. Kevin Franzen in left, Nate Scherholz in right. Danny Espinoza gets the nod at shortstop today, and Jose Lobaton behind the plate.
Jose Lobaton, his last 21 starts, the Nationals are 18-3. The guys love throwing to him.
With a 2.15 ERA.
There's Casey McGee. Check of the runner before the stretch position. And McGee takes one in there. Casey in this series 1 for 8 with a walk. 70 RBIs this year on just 4 home runs. He's hit more homers before, but at the age of 31, you might say he's having his career year. Although 285 with Milwaukee 4 years ago, 23 home runs. Hard to overlook. I'm telling you, there's a strike zone out there right now that is really, really tight. Strasburg, I think, had at least 2 pitches he thought were strikes. Paul Schreiber tightening things up here on getaway day. That is blown away, 2-1.
Kind of flying out of there early. You see the home and road record.
But remember when the road ERA was way up over 5 on the way down?
Right now, mechanic's a little bit off, though. A little bit quick.
In around the trademark and a foul ball. The count's even 2-2.
I think early on in games for Steven, even in an atmosphere like this in South Florida, it's still your day. It's your start. You're fired up. You have to control that adrenaline and those emotions early in the game until you get into that rhythm. So we always talk about how he has to stay close, stay back, get his release point out front. That's all fine and dandy, but when Mr. Adrenaline takes over, it's harder to do that than you would think.
2-2 the count. Nats would love a ground ball. How about to Rendon? And turned by Cabrera. It's a 5-4-3, and the walk does no harm.
You're the double play summoner. You know that? Just keep that up. You just stay right where you're at, Mr. Carpenter. That was fantastic.
And I predict Kevin Franzen leading off in a moment. bet you can hear the sea in that shell. That thing has been around for a while. Franzen Espinosa, Lobaton. Maybe almost as long as the ocean itself.
I come back from break, that looked like we're on some reality show or something.
We are. Baseball's the ultimate reality show.
Yeah, the best one going.
And nothing's rehearsed.
Pretty sure that's obvious if you've listened to a broadcast this year.
Strike one to Franzen. Kevin, 2 hits and RBI in this series. And the count is 1-1. Top of the second. Nathan Eovaldi, 14 pitches, 8 strikes, first inning. Big curveball had Franzen reaching. Echeverria for the first out.
The Color Run Kaleidoscope Tour is coming to Nationals Park on Saturday, November 1st. 5K run around Nats Park. Also take you inside the park on the warning track. Nats fans receive a $5 discount on registration. Go to nationals.com/thecolorrun. And guess what's coming out of this? Shocking.
Colors.
Colors. As we bid farewell to the Pinocchio Dolphins.
Well, we have seen them spin once in this series. That was on the Justin Bour home run Friday night. This is Danny Espinosa, 7 for 21 over his last 11 ball games. And a 1-1 pitch. He got jammed and fouled it off to the left. Danny from the left side, well, 181. That just has to get a whole lot better next year. His right-handed number's fine, but you get so many more B's as a lefty. And that'll be a slow roller for Donovan Solano.
All right, tweet your photo right now. We only have a few days left to tweet your photo using hashtag #MASSonFanPhotos. We'll show it on TV. That's brought to you by AT&T.
Here's Jose Lobaton. Batting at .233. Another one of Mike Rizzo's good deals. 4-player deal involving Nathan Carnes with Tampa Bay. Back on the 13th of February. I mean, that was right at the beginning of spring training. Guys already reporting down there, and Lobaton came to the Nats after hitting .249 with the Rays last year.
It's one of the only players I've seen ever in all my experiences that has transformed his body in the course of a season. I mean, when he got here, he wasn't in the best shape he's ever been in, and he has just got in the weight room, trained as hard as anybody I've ever seen. His work ethic is as good as I've ever seen, and he's made himself a strong player. He didn't have the same strength that he does right now when the season started. And I think it's reflective in his swings, his approach at the plate, even his body makeup. And it's hard to do that during the season. Usually it goes the other way. Usually guys come into camp all shredded and jacked, and as the season goes, it's hard to stay that way because of the rigors of a 6-month schedule. Jose Lobaton is just the opposite, and it's definitely shown in his play.
That is a nasty curveball. Eovaldi's dropped a couple of those in already. He's retired 6 of his first 7. No score early in Miami.
Park. A lot of teams like to talk about how they're a team that fights until the end, how they scrap and claw and battle. That's something you hear out of a lot of clubhouses around Major League Baseball. With the Nationals, that's not lip service. As you might have seen earlier on our game notes, the Nats have the best winning percentage in the majors when they trail after 6 innings. And last night was another such instance. They trailed 2-0 after 6. They ended up coming back to win 3-2. The Nats have now won more than 1 in 5 games that they trail after 6 innings. So them claiming that they're battlers or that they fight until the end isn't just talk, guys. It's true.
Well, it's how you win a lot of ball games. It's how you win a championship. The Nationals are at 90 games. You don't just do that by leading wire to wire every night. It just doesn't happen that way in this game.
And how many other times they gone down fighting, too, when they didn't actually come back all the way and take the lead?
Yeah, the 8-0 deficit in Atlanta, right?
Turning point in the season. I think it was 7, but...
Yeah, 7. They got 6. Here's Marcell Ozuna.
2 years from now, it'll be 14-0. They came back and made it 14-13. As the legend grows.
Already added 1 run. It's only been a month ago, right?
See?
Good curveball. Ozuna this series 2 for 12. Mike Rizzo on getaway day from his perch upstairs. Strasburg, a good job of running the fastball in on Marcell. Young guy, strikes out a lot, but does a lot of damage. He's another 23-year-old kid on this ball club, and he's doing amazing damage in his first full year in the big leagues. 70 games at the major league level last year before he broke his hand and then had a tear in a ligament in his thumb that ended his season mid-July.
If you're crafting a team for this ballpark, you have to have speed. There's so much ground to cover. And you would think your offense would be all about stealing bases and advancing every time you can. The Marlins don't steal bases, and they're not really built for speed. I mean, when you have a spacious ballpark like this, if you, in 81 games you want to win the majority of them, you got to get a bunch of guys that can fly. There's no other way, unless you bring the fences in.
Yeah.
You get a bunch of burners and you let Stanton hit his home runs, but you know, the Marlins in general do not steal bases.
3-2 Strasburg to Ozuna, and a breaking ball fouled. And we were told before the game today that the Marlins have talked about increasing their payroll by about $30 million next year. So if healthy, it looks like they have all the young pitching they need. They have a good closer. They have a solid bullpen. Everybody thinking about Giancarlo even when he's not in there. But you're right. They got to get some jackrabbits to surround him. They've only stolen, and this ball is foul, 58 bases this year. In 77 attempts, that's the 3rd lowest total in the National League.
Yeah, Ozuna has 3, and he's their center fielder. I know he's hitting cleanup, but
yeah, Yelich has 21. Giancarlo, the only other guy in double figures, he was 13 out of 14.
Yeah, we couldn't agree with that sign more.
Front door breaking ball inside. Second walk by Strasburg. So in a big ballpark, he went curve on 3-2, and the hitter will be the rookie first baseman Justin Moore. Well, one of Drew Storen's guys in the 9th inning last night. Moore got a base hit against him. He was 2 for 4 with an RBI last night. And in this series, 3 for 8 with his first big league home run and 3 driven in.
3-2 curveball might give you an idea how Steven feels about his fastball today.
It seems like on the fastball, it's a really tight zone.
Yeah, Jose Lobaton having a chat right now, just kind of turning his head to the side and asking Paul Schreiber, was that low?
He gets a call on that one. Maybe the catcher and his little discussion helped on that pitch. Nissan will track it. Let's see where 2 is relation to 1.
Well, that's probably a little closer.
Yep.
Right on the corner.
So according to Pitch Track, Paul Schreiber got it totally right on both of those. You just hope as the afternoon that might expand a little bit if Strasburg can have great command, and that's out of play to the left side.
Well, you found out one thing about Justin Bour last night. He'll chase the fastball up with 2 strikes. But it has to be above the letters. He's a good high ball hitter. What you call in the game higher than high.
Up the middle. Desmond gets to it. Rather, Espinoza got to it. And then Cabrera tried to save it by staying on the bag. It looked like there was no way Danny Espinoza could get to that ball. Tremendous range.
Well, good communication by the 2 middle infielders, and Cabrera peels off late and allows Espinoza to go for this. Watch Cabrera just kind of peel off, go to the base. Espinoza tries to go highlight scoop to second. Good effort by Danny. This will give you a better look at it right here. Watch Cabrera. He was thinking about going for it. He decided not to. And the speed of Ozuna is the difference here. Good effort by Espinoza.
Just enough to pull Asdrubal off the bag. So it's 2 on, nobody out. Here's Saltalamacchia.
Steven Strasburg just had a brain cramp. He checked Justin Bour at first base with runners on first and second. He doesn't do that normally because there's no reason to. You know, his little look over, he just did it and he had to step off.
Now he checks the runner at second and gets a call with a running fastball. Saltalamacchia in this series 1 for 7.
Mark that as 1 for Jose Lobaton, and maybe we keep track today on how many balls he gets as strikes. Put a little mark by his name.
And the curveball, Saltalamacchia made an offer, didn't swing. 1-1. The Marlins catcher 1 for 9 career against Strasburg with 3 strikeouts. Just not commanding the edges with the number 1 yet. And maybe the thing you've talked about several times, you know, I noticed some of those fastballs 93, 92. Maybe that arm's trailing today.
It's been on there a little quick.
Gets a high strike call. Counts even 2-2.
I'm going to mark that down as 2 for Lobaton. I am. I'm keeping track today. Look at that's outside. He brings it back in. Subtle move of the glove. Gets a strike. That's 2. Even right now, he's ahead of 90% of catchers in Major League Baseball. In the second inning, getting 2 balls called a strike.
By the way, 2 amazing outfield arms for the Nats today. Another double play ball, and the 4-6-3 serving Strasburg well early in this game. He got McGee last inning. Saltalamacchia here.
Well, last night it was a double play ball that killed the Nats early in the game, and so far in this one it's the double play ball that's killing the Marlins. Nice turn by a couple of guys that haven't done it a lot together. Good feed by Cabrera. Good turn by Espinoza. Not a problem. Nicely done.
So on a day when not everything is going right for Steven in the power department, he's getting some contact outs, and that's 4 outs on the ground. That'll bring in Kike Hernandez. And he bolts the fastball in. There's 97. So you know he kept his body over the pitching mound on that one. The rubber, he was just exploding. Ozuna at third base, 2 outs. Jammed him. Strike 2.
TK's thinking, I've been seeing 92, 94 on the scoreboard. I walk up and get 97, 95. What's going on? Maybe that double play pumped him up a little bit, too.
Tried to go heater to strike him out, just missed.
Good pitch.
No score, bottom of the second. The Marlins have a runner at third and 2 outs. And the breaking ball, a beauty. Second K. So how about that, bookending the first 2 innings with strikeouts, and in between 2 double play balls to erase a couple of walks.
The top of the third inning, and I'm sure they're Nats Plus members. 2015 Nats Plus membership will offer experiences, rewards, and access. By purchasing full or half season plans now, members can also secure tickets for postseason games. Well, that's enough for me. Go to nationals.com/2015.
Nate Scherholtz. Yeah, I know a lot of people in a bit of a panic about postseason tickets right now. And as a season plan holder myself, it was nice to send one email and have that taken care of. That's the way to do it, folks. If we're going to have a winning team on the field for the next several years that you want to follow in October, join us as season plan holders, and you don't have to worry about postseason play.
Well, you should just said that and save me trouble reading that thing. That was way better. Seriously.
Yeah, personal testimony.
That's nice.
It's always huge. And it's 0-2 on a breaking ball. Nate Scherholtz. Nate getting a start in right field. He's 0 for 2 in the series, but he's 4 for 9 career with a home run and 4 RBIs against Nathan Eovaldi.
We talk about getting Ryan Zimmerman at bats going the postseason. I'm sure Matt Williams would like to see Nate Scherholtz lock in here in this last week or so. There will be a few big at bats coming his way, and getting the start today, giving Jason Worth a day off, trying to get him going.
That stays outside, 1-2. Matt Williams, 90 wins in his first year as a big league skipper, and 8 games to go. Eovaldi's doing a good job of disguising that breaking ball. Some of the left-handed batters are hacking, and then that thing's ending up way inside.
It's because as a hitter, you're gearing up for mid to upper 90s. Didn't give you a whole lot of time to stay back for a breaking pitch.
Pretty good take. No swing, says Chad Fairchild. Counts full. Actually 2-2 now. As Scherholtz tries to get aboard ahead of Steven Strasburg. And then Anthony Rendon here, top of the third. If you joined us late, Denard Span sitting out today. And Scherholtz gets under one. Marcelo Zuna, medium center field. Let's check in with Mass and Dan, sir.
Bob, you're talking about guys that aren't in the lineup today, and you mentioned Ryan Zimmerman's name a second ago. Fans might be wondering why he's not in there after the Nationals have talked about wanting to get him lots of at-bats now that he's healthy. Well, Zimmerman told me today that he feels fine. His hamstring's a little sore after the workload that he's done the last handful of days. He's really gone through quite a lot in the last 5 days in terms of trying to ramp back up to speed. So just kind of some normal soreness there in that hamstring. He said that when he took off from third last night on that play at the plate, it was just an instinctual play. He didn't want to do that, and in retrospect said that it wasn't the smartest thing in the world to really push the hamstring that much. But he came out of the game feeling fine, and I wouldn't be surprised later on, guys, if he gets in the game as a pinch hitter.
Yeah, and then another day off tomorrow. That's a fair ball. Eovaldi takes care of Strasburg.
We talked about that at the beginning of the game yesterday, that as a player, no matter how smart you are, and Ryan Zimmerman, one of the smartest guys I've ever been around, when you get into the heat of battle, you're telling yourself, I'm going to go 3/4, I'm going to half speed it tonight, and then all of a sudden that thing happens that you react to, that you've done for however many years instinctively. That's the one you got to be careful, and it happened to Ryan last night on the chopper off the bat of Wilson Ramos. He bolted to the plate. He's fine, but those are the kind of plays you really have to look out for, and it's almost impossible to tell yourself in those situations, no, no, no.
Rendon ground ball to short, first time. And a breaking ball. It stayed upstairs at 78. Inside the numbers with Jeep. Total bases. Singles, doubles, triples, homers. Third best in the league.
That's the big boy club, too.
It is, because that's extra base hits.
You see all the names around him. Those are all the MVP candidates from an offensive standpoint. We said he's going to garner some votes. There's no doubt about it. Kind of finishing somewhere between 4th and 8th.
Rendon has 64 extra base hits on the year, 4th most in the league. Heady stuff for a number 2 hitter in his second big league season. Got a leadoff guy who can get on. You got a number 5 or 6 guy who drives in a lot of runs. And Rendon gets a base hit up the middle. Solano was playing him that way and still couldn't get to it. Nationals' second base hit. They went 1 for 9 first time around, and it'll be Cabrera with a 2-out chance.
I mean, you know you're a good hitter when it's news if you don't get a hit or don't put the barrel on the ball.
Hit number 171 for Anthony Rendon. Span has 179, as does Hunter Pence. There's Cabrera IDing the breaking ball and laying off.
Check out the squint, Anthony Rendon on contact. And he does it almost every single hit. Watch his eyes. It's after, and he just kind of, every time he makes contact, he gives you the Clint Eastwood.
That's to the right side, and it's under Solano. And with Kike Hernandez charging, Rendon stops at second. Back-to-back hits, and here comes Bryce Harper.
And I would love to tell you why he does that, but even if you ask him, he'd be like, I don't know.
So if Clint Eastwood got a base hit, that's what he would look like.
Exactly.
Well, he is not making many pitchers' days this year.
That's Dirty Harry.
Harper base hit first time. He flared one to left center. And Bryce in the series 4 for 10. 4 for 8 career against Eovaldi. Solano backs up at second. He's actually standing on the edge of the grass. And Harper goes up hacking. That'll slice out of play. That ball carrying nearly all the way down the line. It's 344 down the line here, and that's about 9 to 10 feet farther than most big league ballparks.
The distance is far, but then you have the green monster in center field on top of it.
It's 12 feet.
These fences are. It's 418 in the. Look at the fence.
The shortest the fence is here is 12 feet. Left field, right field. So Bryce a battle now on 0-2. Hitting over 300 now, his last 36 games.
It's a good recognition of that slider. That's been a tough one for hitters to pick up so far. He wanted to, saw the rotation late and held up.
Bryce's most recent home run 8 days ago in New York against Wheeler. A tape measure job. And a breaking ball strikes him out. Evaldi, third K of the day. The Nats strand a couple. They've left 3. No score, middle of the third.
Move to the bottom of the third inning. Bryce Harper with a knock. Nathan Eovaldi doing his thing. Steven Strasburg has had little help from his friends behind him. Pitching to contact so far in this one with 3 strikeouts. And you see the ground ball to Rendon, a little 5-4-3. A little 4-6-3. The 5-4-3 ended the first. The 4-6-3 started to get him out of that jam he was in the top of the second with runners on first and second. So for the most part, the pitch into contact has 2 strikeouts so far. Excuse me.
Yeah, I love watching base runners bail when Danny Espinosa's coming at him about to make a throw.
Yeah, get down.
8-9-1 for the Marlins in the bottom of the third. Echeverria goes up hacking, looking for his first base hit in this series. 0 for 10, and career against Strasburg 3 for 17. So he was batting over 280 before the Nats came to town. It's a front door breaking ball of beauty. Mercedes-Benz will track it.
Pretty good pitch by Strasburg right here. Drops the curveball in nice.
Another breaking ball. Rendon on the bouncer. And he guns it close. Echeverria really getting down the line. That's good baseball by the runner and the third baseman.
Well, that's about arm strength right there. Took a little bit of time. The ball wasn't hit very hard. Gets his feet underneath him and then lets it rip. Barely gets him by half a step. Good hustle by the Marlins shortstop, smelling the hit.
Well, they say speed never slumps, but he is 0 for 11 in this series. And I'm looking at his log for the series. He's hit almost every ball. I show him with only 3 fly balls the entire series. Everything else on the ground. A couple of strikeouts. There's Nathan Eovaldi, who's 5 for 54 this year. Funny how pitchers always seem to fall behind 2-0 to the other pitcher. Time to battle back, get this out, and then take on Yelich. By the way, the Dodgers at Chicago today made a late change, and Jamie Wright is starting for them this afternoon. Out of their bullpen.
I was singing that Go Cubs Go song for about 20 minutes before the game yesterday.
Don't remind me of that song. 2:20 Eastern, the starting time for that one. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are going to win today. Well, let's hope so. It's right down the middle. Strasburg, third strikeout. Starting with a double play, he's retired 4 straight.
That was worth $37 to the Children's Inn at NIH, because every strikeout this year by an Nats pitcher is worth $37 thanks to Toyota.
One taken. And of course, those are Eovaldi strikeouts. The taken one in the middle was Lobaton. He also has 3. Here's Kristen Yelich. And a curveball low. Strasburg surprised him with a heater, caught him looking first time up. In this series, he's 2 for 13. Loves to go the other way, didn't miss the bag by much. Yelich last night a base hit. His other hit in the series, his 3rd time up, Thursday, when he hit that ringing double way over the head of Bryce Harper and left. So they go back inside, and that's ball 2. Marlins are 6th in the league in batting average. They're 7th in runs, 9th in homers, but a surprising 13th in stolen bases. Don't blame this guy. He has ripped 21 bags. That's a good looking pitch, didn't get it. Close to the inside edge. I think Strasburg thought he had a strike.
Well, I think Yelich thought he took a strike.
I mean, what is wrong with that? 3-1. Hot shot, Rendon on the short hop. Well played.
Beautiful.
Defense excellent behind Strasburg today. On to the middle innings we go. Stephen, a little chat with the home plate umpire, Paul Schreiber, on his way back. And 2 nice assists by Rendon. Eovaldi, Strasburg matching up beautifully. All right, here's the tournament brackets. If things remain the same, the Nats awaiting the Pittsburgh-San Francisco wild card play-in game. As it is right now, St. Louis would go to L.A., but there's only a one-game difference. So Busch Stadium and Dodger Stadium could flip-flop there. But if the Nats take care of their business, they're in great shape. As are the Angels and the Orioles. Angels will get either Kansas City or Oakland, it appears. And don't forget, Seattle is still mathematically in that mix as well.
I'll probably butcher it, but yesterday we looked up the three-way wild card playoff. If Kansas City, Oakland, and Seattle all had the same record. And it goes to your intra-division record, first of all.
Intra-division?
Yes.
Inside your division. Loud crack of the bat, base hit LaRoche. Now the Nats have 4 hits. So first time the leadoff guy's on. Go ahead.
So your intra-division winning percentage, if that's tied, you go to outside the division winning percentage.
And the thing I wonder, why doesn't head-to-head competition between the teams mean anything? I mean, you could beat a team 5 out of 6 times from another division, but on a different tiebreaker, they could come out ahead of you.
So it's the ABC.
Yeah.
A plays B. The winner of A and B plays C.
Yeah, it'd be a 2-day, 2-game event involving 3 teams.
If I really wanted to break it down, you'd all just, your heads would explode. It's that complicated.
Well, and you'd be wrapping that up around the bottom of the 5th inning if you started right now. Franzen bouncing ball to short first time. Eovaldi had him reaching for a breaking ball. Kevin has a ton of hitting room right side with them holding LaRoche. Similar to the one on which he struck out. No way to reach it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two and 1.
Kevin Franzen looking for something away to hit between first and second. That hole provided by the LaRoche single. He likes to use that.
About 85 feet between Boer and Solano. Inside, and a good take by Kevin. 3-1.
Kind of cool moment I haven't talked about yet is, you know, 2 kids that you coach in the minor league system, and to see them get to pour champagne on each other the other night in the clubhouse, and to get down there and take a bunch of pictures with them when they're in A-ball in San Jose on buses for 10 hours and 12 hours. You don't ever think about the finished product.
That's a pretty well hit ball, right field corner, and they've called the batter out, and this is going to be a double play. Fantastic range by Kike Hernandez. And I'm not thinking maybe Jordany Valdespin. I'm not thinking any other Marlins outfielder makes that play. And the bases are going to be empty with 2 outs.
I think it's Hernandez in right, and I think it came out. Everybody in the dugout saying stay there. And I'm based on what I'm seeing in the Nationals dugout right now. They're telling the runners to stay there. I don't think it did. I think he kept it in his glove. Nice play by Kike right there. And you can't blame Adam LaRoche for taking off. Matt Williams going to stroll out. They're going to take a look at it in the clubhouse. I didn't see it come out of his glove. Did you, Cart?
No, I saw a lot of white, but never actually saw it on the ground.
No, I think he caught this all the way. I think it's a double play.
No challenge. Wow.
I mean, there's a lot of white showing. And if any part of the grass kind of pushes that ball back into the glove, it's not a catch, but I don't think that was the case.
Adam LaRoche would have scored easily on that play. Franzen probably standing on third right now. And the bases are empty for Danny Espinosa. Kike Hernandez. We've seen him play infield and outfield in this series. And to the right side, to the bag himself, Justin Bour. And the inning comes apart in a moment because of a Kike play.
In looks at the play that Kike Hernandez just made on Kevin Franz, and watch the ball and how close it is to coming out of his glove.
Glove still under it.
It's still under it. It stays in there, but even right here, keep it going. I don't know how it stayed in. It's more of a balancing act at that point. Right there, it looks like it's popping out.
It's amazing. You can see the entire baseball that whole time.
But look at the whole ball right there. It's a great shot, guys. The whole ball is, I mean, it's basically out of his glove, but it's in his glove, if that makes any sense, because the glove is underneath it. Keep it going. Yeah, see? There it is. He controls it, puts the other hand in there to secure it. Wow.
Well, sometimes it's not a game of inches. It's a game of millimeters. Donovan Solano, bottom of the fourth. Strasburg misses. Game still scoreless by fractions of an inch. Solano, McGee, Ozuna, 2-3-4 here. Anthony Rendon, a busy day. That's fair. Sidearm whip. Plenty of time to LaRoche. Anthony playing some third base today.
He's having a busy day because Stevens using the two-seamer on right. He's really running it in on him, so they really don't have any option other than to pull it. If you're going to swing at the sinker, this is where it's going to go, Anthony Rendon.
3 of the last 4 hitters, and then that double play back in the first. Next up, Casey McGee, who hit that 5-4-3 grounder. First pitch curveball, nasty. Serious dive, and Nissan will track it.
Man, went for the ambush fastball, got the deuce.
Look at the sink on that changeup. I mean, that's a sinking fastball for a lot of guys. For him, it's 88. Straight change.
Tells you how good your fastball is when your changeup is 88 and has movement like that. Key for me, it was in the strike zone. Now you have to respect it as a hitter.
And he spins off the curve again. No swing, says Alfonso Marquez.
Everything down.
One hopper scorched right at Cabrera. And a good job of keeping the bases empty with the Marlins' big RBI guy coming up. They're getting some good swings, but Strasburg, right now, I've got him for 8 ground ball outs.
Yeah, he's relaxed now. He's controlling the emotion. Mechanics are good. That play as Drupal made last night, I know it's probably not going to make a lot of highlight reel plays, but from a baseball standpoint, I've never seen a guy flip a ball to himself like he did. He played flip. If I don't know if a lot of you know what the game of flip is. Players used to play it all the time, where they have the glove and they just flip it around from glove to glove, and it's a game you get in a circle. In the old days, they used to do it. You used to see signs on the backstop that said no flip, but watch this right here. Flips it to himself. It's pretty late last night, in case you missed it. And I've never seen that before. Flipped the ball from his glove to his bare hand, threw it to first.
I mean, that was the second out in the 8th inning in a 1-run game. Up it goes off the bat of Ozuna, just below the girders. Cabrera waving everybody away, and it's a 1-2-3 for Steven Strasburg. He's now retired 8 consecutive batters, and he has 8 ground ball outs in 4 innings.
Time later in the game. That's brought to you by Miller Lite.
No score, top of the 5th coming up. And if you had to wash something down with a cold Miller Lite, how about some $1 dogs at the ballpark Tuesday night? Mets will be in for 3, 7:05 game. Some restrictions apply. For game tickets, 202-675-NATS or go to nationals.com/tickets. It's all presented by Hatfield, and they know dogs.
And remember, there is no wrong pipe.
Infamous words of Kevin Franzen, now part of the Beltway lexicon.
Infamous? They're famous. There's nothing infamous about them.
Nasty breaking ball. Nathan Eovaldi's on his game today.
Oh, yeah, I think no pepper was the sign, not no flip.
Yeah. Well, pepper involves a bat.
You knew what I meant.
And Cabrera will hit this ball out of play. Pardon me, Lobetone. Lobetone Shearholt Strasburg here. And Jose lays off the breaking ball. Fighting on an 0-2 count. Trying to get somebody aboard so the pitcher could move a runner along here. The Nats just within a fraction of an inch of scoring last inning. Jose came into this game batting .310 since August 1st. There were times earlier in the season when they were knocking the bat out of his hands, but not since, as you mentioned. He has worked on everything, gotten himself stronger.
That's a catcher call right there. Maybe a hair outside, but when you're catching and blocking balls for a home plate umpire, you usually get the borderline calls.
3-2. Lobaton strokes one to left. It's falling, and Yelich can't get it. Jose will make a turn and go to second. Second straight game in this series when a corner outfielder for the Marlins attempts a diving catch, and it gives the Nats an extra bag or two.
Well, gets another chance, just throws it out there, puts it in play, and good effort by Christian Yelich. His manager will have no problems with him selling out for that baseball. It just didn't happen, and a leadoff double here in the 5th for the Nats.
Yeah, right under his glove. Well, a big spot for Nate Scherholtz here. Pitcher next. So he'll be trying to drive in the run. He flied to center first time. But as we told you, first time up, he's had success against Nathan Eovaldi. 4 career hits, a homer, 4 RBIs. He drives it to right center. The Nets are on top. Scherholtz thinking 3. That thing hits the wall way out there, 400 feet away. Momentary bobble by Hernandez. A stand-up RBI triple by the number 8 hitter, Nate Scherholtz.
Last 2 nights, the Nats have been a triples machine. And it continues again here. Nate Scherholtz, nice job. Not trying to move Jose Lobaton with Steven Strasburg on deck, but you want to get something you can pull. Pulls it in the gap, and there was a little mishandle out there, and Scherholtz can fly. Very, very fast for a big guy, and that was an easy triple. And with the bobble, you were thinking maybe more.
That's Nate Scherholtz's 4th triple of the year. Infield in. Strasburg a chance for his 2nd RBI, actually 3rd of the year.
Tell you what, 4 triples for Scherholtz. It's impressive because he played most of his games in Wrigley Field. There are no triples in that ballpark.
And I was thinking 2nd RBI because Strasburg already has one on this road trip at Atlanta Monday night. 2 on the year. He's ahead in the count, bounces it, and the rangy pitcher Eovaldi grabs it. He stands 6'2", but he got taller than that. 1 out. You like your chances, though, with Rendon walking in. Don't want a base runner to chance something with nobody out on a play like that. So Anthony now a chance to drive in his 81st.
Or will he have a chance? We'll see.
Left-handed batter Cabrera, the switch hitter, on deck. We'll see how they pitch him.
I think they'll pitch him carefully.
43 games over 500 when the Nats score first. And Rendon not over eager. We talked about this numerous times. His heart pumping about as fast right now as it does on the bus to the ballpark. He's just amazing in that respect, how he stays quiet and does damage. Breaking ball rolling in. Counts even 1-1. Ooh, he had a pitch to work with. Meanwhile, the Nats have Nathan Eovaldi over 70 pitches now in just 4 1/3 innings of work. Big gap left center. Indicates they want to pitch him away. Ball 2.
But even that pitch right there is a perfect example of how the game moves for Anthony Rendon, how slow it moves. He just has an extra click based on how quick his bat is to make that decision that mere mortals have to make a click before he does. His bat speed allows him to let the ball get deep and wait longer than most hitters.
Let's see if they were setting up something away with that inside heater. Eovaldi missing his spot. That's what we were talking about earlier. Saltalamacchia wanted that ball outside. He missed up and in.
I mean, you're talking about how much time you have to make a decision as a hitter. That extra click I'm talking about is an eternity.
3-2 with one out. Big breaking ball, and he just knocks it right down the left field line. The Nats take the lead. It's another extra base hit for Anthony Rendon. They doubled their lead to 2-0 on his 81st RBI. That's his 65th extra base hit.
You know, I can't believe I'm in awe of this guy every day, but I am. You would think you would get to a point when you see a guy play as much as you do, and it's Anthony Rendon, that you just expect it, you're used to it. But the at-bats he throws up there consistently on a daily basis, every single day I find myself shaking my head watching this guy play. He's as good as anybody in baseball.
Yeah, if he could just enjoy himself out there and smile once in a while, he'd really be great.
I mean, he's not going to get a gray hair till he's 70.
I bet he could hit about 240 then, too. So the inning continues, still only one out. Now Eovaldi, who just got a visit from Chuck Hernandez, his pitching coach, has to deal with two lefties, Cabrera and Harper. Has Dribble seen enough of those breaking balls now? Third time around, not biting on those like he did first time up. Bryce 1 for 2.
I think when Eovaldi matures a little bit more, even though he had a lefty on deck, he'll get to a point where he realizes that you really don't give one of the best hitters in the National League anything to hurt you with in that situation. Even though it's right on right, you got the matchup you want, blah, 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 you still have a guy in Rendon that's shown, based on his numbers alone, 172 hits on the year, 39 doubles, all the RBIs. Nothing against his Dribble Cabrera, but you know, those are hitters you're careful with.
Now he's gone 3-0 on Cabrera.
And especially in today's lineup, you know, that would be a guy that I would maybe think about a ground ball double play and pitching around him, even though a lefty's on deck.
Cabrera, by the way, with his base hit last time up, on base 17 of his last 20 games. And a lot of that hitting eighth. 3-1. He got jammed, and a pop-up to Echeverria. 2 down. Eovaldi battles back from 3-0, and now Bryce Harper with a shot to drive in a third run. So this is it for the road schedule. Tomorrow, day off. Tanner Roark, Bartolo Colon Tuesday night. Gio Dillon G Wednesday, and then Doug Fister and Zach Wheeler on Thursday. The Nationals lead the season series with the Mets 13-3, and then the day-night doubleheader Friday with the Marlins to make up a rainout earlier this year. That's against the Mets, 4 out of 6 at Nationals Park so far. Total domination in New York. Eovaldi struck out Harper last time up. This time he's behind. And a drive to right center, but Ozuna's going to get there. Bryce Harper gashing that ball, and the Nats taking serious swings on the Miami starter. It started with Jose Lobaton leading off in the number 7 spot. Flare to left. The big blow, the Shearholtz triple to right center, put the Nats on top. Rendon a double. So after 4.5 to 0, Washington. only one hit all day long, and that was a hit stopped by an infielder. So Jeep takes us inside the numbers. 33rd start of the year, the most in the league. Innings, he's in the top 6 now, having thrown 4 today. 233 strikeouts, number 1. And the walks per 9 innings way down this year. Under 2 a game, only 6 pitchers better. Putting it all together is Steven Strasburg. Now he needs the shutdown inning. First up, Justin Bour, the rookie. Bour, the base hit up the middle, stopped by Espinoza, first time up. .87, that's why he hit over the top of the ball. So many things he can do on 0-2. He'll go with the changeup, fading outside. You haven't been with us all weekend. Justin Bour out of Westfield High School, Chantilly, Virginia. Went to George Mason. Rule 5 pickup from the Cubs prior to this year. Fastball low and away. Pretty good miss. Had him roll over the ground ball to LaRoche. Strasburg making them hit his pitches today, and that's ground ball out number 9.
Well, he's not just pitching to contact, he's pitching to bad contact. The Nationals are headed for October, either 1 hour before the game with us and Nats Extra before and after every game. So an hour edition. You can also follow the Nats on Twitter at Masson Nationals for news, game updates, and chances to win prizes. Masson, your Maximum Nationals postseason network.
Yeah, we're going to put Johnny and Ray to work, and then FP and I and Dan will be helping out from the ballparks. Jared Saltalamacchia. Now he's starting to throw everything for strikes. That's the curveball. Miami catcher rolled into a 4-6-3 double play first time up. There's the changeup. Marlins have a young catcher they're high on for next year. His name is JT Realmuto. He's from Jeff Kemp's high school in the Oklahoma City area. He's their number 3 guy right now, but they love his defense, and we may see him quite a bit next year.
Got a cannon. Catch and throw guy.
Matt Kemp, by the way. Marlins do have some good young building blocks on this club.
Really scuffled the second half. Saltalamacchia.
Yeah, more of an offensive guy. 15 errors behind the plate. Most of those on throws. Strasburg will underhand it to LaRoche. Easy out, 2 down. For the Achiever and you, PNC Bank with our minor league report. Pedro Floriman, the Nats picked him up a couple of days ago on waivers from the Minnesota Twins. He was actually Minnesota's opening day shortstop this year, and he didn't hit a whole lot there. He was at .092 in 33 games and then spent most of his season at AAA Rochester.
Defensive guy, can really pick it.
27 years of age. Kike Hernandez drives it to right, but Shearholtz is there. Maybe the Marlins' best hit ball of the day. Absolutely it is. And now Strasburg, a one-hitter through 5.
Anthony Rendon. What new? 2 for 3, double. Nate Scherholtz, his 4th triple. And we're going to take you to that 5th inning where all the action happened and show you some Geico highlights. Started with the bloop double off the bat of Jose Lobato. Nice job of putting the ball in play. And Nate Scherholtz goes shopping at the monster gaps here at Marlins Park. And just another lousy double for Tony Two-Bag. Scores Nate Scherholtz, and that's where we're at. 2-0 Nets.
Strasburg brilliant. Here's LaRoche. Adam 1 for 2. And a rocket to Bauer. Adams hit a couple of hard line drives caught in this series. He's a hard luck 2 for 10 this weekend. Franz and Espinosa, the next 2. Franzen robbed by Hernandez in right field.
And nice play. Kevin ran by him after that last out, said something funny to him coming off the field. Like, knock that off, probably.
Kike Hernandez.
Kike, nickname for Enrique. That's how we got Kike.
Over here from Houston with Jared Cosart. Franzen jammed a bit. Left side in between hop for Casey McGee. Nice soft hands to grab it cleanly. 2 outs. Nats box. It took until the 3rd to get a couple of hits. Harper had one in the first. Rendon, Cabrera back to back. Then the robbery of Hernandez after the LaRoche single in the 4th. Lobaton single. Scherholtz triple. Rendon double 5th inning. That's how the Nats took a 2-0 lead. Danny Espinosa has pulled 2 ground ball outs. One to Espinosa. Nathan Eovaldi's due up 2nd in the bottom of the 6th. His pitch count is at 86 right now. And Danny able to foul off the slow breaking ball. It's 1-2.
And Jason Worth's beard long. Adam LaRoche's beard long. But Danny Espinosa's beard looked like it's bulletproof. Like bullets would ricochet off that.
Guys sitting in the dugout doesn't mind firing a few bullets during the offseason out in open country.
It's a good beard. Franzen's beard's good. LaRoche's is great. That one is bulletproof.
Espinosa late for 94. And Eovaldi gets a 1-2-3 inning. He's had 4 strikeouts today. Will he hit? We'll find out in the bottom of the 6th. presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. No, 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 says the umpire. Don't try to beat Bob. My guy in blue is going to appear out of nowhere and win this race for the third time in 4 games this weekend.
How many pitches do you think that thing has that's on the ground?
That is,
all those arms.
That is the biggest collision since Godzilla against Mothra. We're going to the bottom of the 6th.
There'd be a lot of deception in that delivery.
Looks like the Marlins will be hitting for Evaldi. Ed Lucas on deck. Adeiny Echeverria ground ball to Rendon, first time up. Looking to bunt for a hit. Here comes Anthony. Bare hand. The throw. He got him. Rendon having a fantastic day. 2 hits, an RBI, and outstanding at the hot corner.
Well, we told you in game 1 of the series, don't bunt on Anthony Rendon. He has the second most bare hand plays in all of baseball. That's his 14th. Nolan Arenado has 15. So it's his 23rd assist on bunt plays as well. If there's one guy you don't bunt on in the big leagues, it's Rendon. That was a perfect bunt. Runner with wheels, and Anthony Rendon says, not on my watch.
Now down to the number 9 spot for Ed Lucas, who's 1 for 6 career against Steven Strasburg. Strasburg around the plate now for the last 4 innings or so, and his defense rewarding him beautifully. That's Andrew Heaney for the Marlins. Look at that fastball at the knees, 0-2.
I think Scott Boras takes stats like that to arbitration. Hey, my client has 14 bare hand plays, and that's second of all of baseball.
Then the GM says, how many were outs? And he says, all of them.
All of them. He's going to win a gold glove someday.
A lot of guys have a lot of bare hand plays. They're not all outs.
You can mark that down.
Wow, so much to like about this young man. And then Strasburg goes changeup on 0-2 to Lucas.
Well, all the things you see on TV with his ability, yeah, there's tons to like. But when you talk to the players, there's even more to like about the person. When you talk about Anthony Rendon, he's the same guy every day in the clubhouse. Great teammate, cares about winning.
89, another changeup for the strikeout. And as the hitter leaves the box, he's looking back at the umpire as if to say, oh my, what was that? 1 hit for the Marlins. Justin Bour, the rookie, bouncing one up the middle. It was a hard hit ball, nothing cheap about it. Danny Espinosa kept it out of center field. Couple of walks, Solano in the first, Ozuna in the second. But Steven erased base runners those innings with double play balls. Faces Christian Yelich, he struck him out. And Rendon with a good short hop pick took a hit away from him in the third.
I mean, it was a seeing-eye ground ball. That's the only hit in this game. He really didn't hit it hard. It was just well placed up the middle, right over the bag. Oh, there you go.
Solano now with 2 outs in the 6th.
But that would have been an interesting decision for Matt Williams if you want to play the what-if game. You have a pitcher that you really don't want to stretch out. He's got to be ready for postseason baseball, and he's got a no-hitter going. His pitch count's getting high.
Yeah, Steven is stretched out. He's gone at least 7 innings 15 times this year. He's gone at least 25 of his 31 starts. Actually 32 starts. So 1 out away from doing that again, and here's Donovan Solano. Yelich 21 out of 28 this year. Over a third of the Marlins total. And that is 94 right in there. First pitch strike, Solano. And a bouncer charge. Rendon's going to cut it. Doing it all today. Range, bunts, one hoppers. Anthony Rendon having quite a day here. As the Nats get ready to fly home tonight after clinching a division, this young man a big reason why.
Who have played here at Marlins Park over its 3 years of operation, you'll hear them rave about how much better the grass has gotten here in recent seasons. Back in 2012, the surface was awful, and that's according even to people who work for the Marlins. I talked to the Marlins supervisor of grounds, Greg Jones, and he said that Bermuda grass had originally been chosen for Marlins Park, but that species of grass just wasn't a good fit here given the retractable roof and the AC that's pumped into the ballpark. Bermuda grass requires 6 hours of intense sunlight a day, and that just wasn't possible here with the roof closed so much. The lack of heat and sun left the grass looking incredibly patchy and brown, and players say the footing was just terrible. After that season, the Marlins consulted with the Astros, who also have a retractable roof and a similar climate to Miami. And last year, they started to transition to a species of grass called paspalum, which holds up much better with limited, less intense sunlight. Players say the grass plays much better now than it did 2 years ago, and as you guys can tell from up there in the booth, it looks a lot better too.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And not to be forgotten, and here's Andrew Heaney, the rookie who faces the Nats for the first time. Not to be forgotten is that 4 years ago, if you were playing the Marlins in September, it's a field they were sharing with the Dolphins and the Miami Hurricanes. And I mean, that thing was all chewed up this time of the year.
Yeah, awful. But they got it right now, and you remember in 2012 when we came here, they were having all kinds of problems. They even went to Australia to find a breed of grass. They were searching, and now they got it right. And it takes a while, but kudos to them for figuring out what they needed here at Marlins Park.
It's a quirky place, no doubt about it, but you will never hear us complain about the fact that you can go to the ballpark every day and know you're playing and playing on time. This time of the year, that's great. No worries about losing an off day. 3-2 now to Jose Lobaton. He'll turn around and bat from the right side. 237 from that side of the plate this year. Heaney, 22 years of age, out of Oklahoma State. Pass ball up, strikes out Lobaton. That'll bring in Nate Scherholz.
Come see the Nats take on the Marlins. 4:05 start, September 27th. Tyler Clippard bobblehead that's presented by PNC Bank. First 25,000 fans You'll get a Tyler Clippard bobblehead.
Tyler had one in the minor leagues at Double-A for the Yankees. And the day of that bobblehead, I think he struck out 11 Harrisburg Senators, ironically, from the organization he would one day become a star for.
Well, if he strikes out 11 on the 27th, that will be news.
He was a starter back then. Shearholtz outside, 1-1. Tyler's mom and dad are here this weekend. They live over in the Tampa area, and they said they are not going to miss next Saturday at home. Major League bobblehead for their fine young man. Big blow of the game last time for Shearholtz, the triple. This one out of play, left side. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Strasburg on deck. Steven in 6 innings has thrown 76 pitches. So Nate Azenat, 6 hits in 32 at bats now. A couple of RBIs. A homer in Seattle and the triple today.
When you talk about playing surfaces, though, it's no small thing for major league players. They get accustomed to having the best dirt mix, the best grass mix. And when you play in the minor leagues, sometimes you're playing in cow pastures. There's no other way to put it. When you get to the highest level, you're used to having true hops, the grass being like you're playing in Augusta in every ballpark. And if there's 1 or 2 that don't have that, you'll hear guys talking about it all the time. And I think Nats Park, you hear visiting players say, has the best playing surface in the National League. And that's a credit to John Turnauer and his grounds crew. They do a fantastic job. Nobody better, in my opinion.
He went out a little bit and got that pitch. Outer third and drove it to right center.
Nate leans to the right a little bit, it looks like.
Yeah, he can get the ball up and away. And Shearholtz to the right side. Bohr almost went for it, got back to the bag in time, and they got Shearholtz on a very close play. 2 outs.
All right, here's your last road AT&T fan photo of the year. A couple of Nats fans look like they got to Nats Park a bit early, and we like that.
Yeah, right above the scoreboard out there in right center.
A little Nata dude on the left. That way. Saw a lot of Nats fans here in South Florida. I think a lot of people thought the clinch might be coming down here in Miami, so they came down from D.C.
Yeah, for the weekend.
And they're hoping to get a sweep.
Strasburg up there hacking. No balls, 2 strikes. Steven, a couple of bouncers back to the pitcher. Evaldi made a good play on the most recent one to keep him from getting an infield single for the RBI that eventually Rendon drove in. Backhand play. Casey McGee up to his feet, and a 1-2-3 for the rookie left-hander Andrew Heaney. It's the Hyundai 7th inning stretch at Marlins Park in Miami, a couple of miles inland, and it's all Nats right now. And it's all Strasburg. He'll be facing 3, 4, 5 McGee, Ozuna, and Bohr straight ahead. Tyler Clippard may be getting ready for another appearance in the 8th inning today. Ian Storen had been unstoppable last 2 innings of ball games. So let's talk about a little history. The Nats on top 2-0. It's brought to you by Volkswagen. And 4 years ago on this date, 10th win out of the Nationals bullpen. And the first relief pitcher in the history of DC baseball with 100 strikeouts in a single season. Now, talk about starters, and look at Tyler Clippard's. He's up there ahead of Levon, behind Gio, Jordan, and Steven.
Well, I'm sure Matt Williams want to see Steven Strasburg go real deep into this game. You know, he's been leaning on the back end of the bullpen pretty hard lately. And I don't know if he would go to Clippard and Storen today. That'd be interesting to see.
Last night, Tyler Clippard threw 13 pitches to get a 1-2-3-8, and then Storen threw 18 pitches. Gave up 2 hits in the 9th, but got that dramatic game-ending double play. So Strasburg gets 76 pitches in 6 innings.
You'd like for him to smell the finish line.
Well, just for reference, again, he's gone 15 times this year. 8 innings once.
He's given the death stare to the Miami cheerleaders that are still on the field.
Get the dancers off the field, please.
Little thing called a baseball game going on.
Lest we forget. Look at that hook. That's a knee buckler if you're a right-handed batter. Threw him another one, and that just hits the very top of the barrel. Adam LaRoche was watching that spin, wondering if it might come back.
Last start 66% fastball. This start 70.
And the fastball got off to a slow start today, didn't it? In terms of command.
If you got in the flow, you'd be fine.
Hitter gone. Strikeout for Steven Strasburg. It's number 5 on the day.
Well, the fastball percentage up because the confidence in the fastball up. We saw him in Atlanta last time out against the Braves. Just 2-0 counts, 2-1 counts. Here it is. If you could turn it around, turn it around. That always hasn't been the case. There's been a lot of times this year when he's gone to his changeup or his curveball behind the count. But right now, with the mechanics the way they are, the confidence in the fastball having that late life and being real heavy when it gets to the plate. Velocity up, he's throwing it way more. Why wouldn't you?
Three o'clock on the East Coast, and we're at Marlins Park in Miami. Final road game of the regular season. Strasburg having quite a day. Rendon having quite a day. Big hit for Nate Scherholtz. And a breaking ball out to left. And Harper will knock it down. The runner is trying to go to second. He better make it. He comes off the bag. Franzen, pardon me. And he's out. Marcell Ozuna full speed into the bag. And he ends up 10 feet off the bag.
I hope he's okay. Weird slide into second base. It's got to be his right ankle, huh? One of those plays where Kevin Franzen kind of got caught in no man's land in between. He wanted to come get it, and the ball just hops in front of his glove, so he uses his body. You see him, the infielder in him, tried to use his body to keep it in front, hustles after it, and it makes it close enough where Ozuna's got to slide, or
he
thinks he doesn't have to slide. Rolls his ankle. Well, if you slide, you take care of all that. That does not look good. No idea why he didn't slide.
Close enough to warrant that. That's Sean Cunningham, Marlins head trainer. Mike Redmond helping out. Brett Butler, third base coach, helping out. He'll have to have lots of assistance to get off the field.
Well, I guess you don't know what's going on with that ankle. It does not look good, obviously. But you have the whole off season to heal, but he's in some kind of pain.
Yeah, he hit the front of the bag. His foot turned sideways, and then he ended up about 10 feet past the bag toward third base. So it'll be 2 outs, bases empty, and obviously a major ordeal just to get Marcell off the field.
The stairs in the dugout are going to be the hardest part, and all the Marlins are kind of moving down there to help Sean Cunningham, head trainer, and Mike Redmond get him off the field and down the stairs.
So Strasburg throwing a few pitches in the meantime. He'll face Justin Bour with the bases empty. Bour 1 for 2 against Strasburg today. And a curveball is in there. Nissan will track it.
By getting the curveball over, getting the changeup over, fastball command has been great. Continuing his last 4 starts here in Miami.
And LaRoche picks one off before it can go to the right field corner.
And getting a little help from his friends on defense. Rendon has made a bunch of sparkling plays. Now Adam LaRoche joined the party with a nifty little backhand on a bullet.
Strasburg visiting with his pitching coach. Is an 8th inning in the offing. Maybe going 8 for the second time this year. We shall see. Nats coming up top of the 8th inning. You know, everybody talks about the strikeouts and the power of Steven Strasburg. 13 outs on the ground today.
Well, he's throwing strikes, and he's getting ahead, and he's throwing all 3 pitches for strikes. And I know there's a lot of talk a month ago about who would be the Game 1 starter for the Nats in the playoffs. I think we could put all that to rest because Steven Strasburg, his last 5 starts, has just been so consistent. And I think that's something he struggled with at times, consistency, and now he is. So you have some peace of mind knowing going to the playoffs that your ace is your ace.
Well, and that lets everything else fall into place, too. No matter who the other 3 starters are, and there will be a little debate about the back end of that, but it sure is good when maybe a guy has settled the debate at the top of your rotation.
There's really no questions right now. It's just a matter of keep doing what you're doing, staying healthy, and playing baseball the way it's supposed to be played. I mean, offensively, defensively, starting pitching, back end of the bullpen, everybody contributing right now. Team clicking on all cylinders.
Top of the 8th. Heaney's still in there. Strikeout, couple of grounders. And he faces Anthony Rendon, having a 2-for-3 day with an RBI and a spectacular play after play at third base. Nats out hitting the Marlins 7-3, leading 2-0. Rendon's driven in his 81st run. And that ball driven to deep left center, but it got down toward the end of the bat. And that's Hernandez now playing center with Garrett Jones in right after the Ozuna injury. 1 out.
Nats fans, place your bids now for a chance to receive a game-worn jersey. Auction ends Wednesday, September 24th, 8 p.m. Go to nationals.com/auction to place your bid. You can also purchase raffle tickets at Nats Park during the final homestand. Proceeds support the Washington Nationals Dream Foundation. And you will have an on-field ceremony following the game on September 28th to receive your jersey.
Here's Asdrubal Cabrera to bat right-handed. He'll drive one up the middle, and a 2-hit day for him. So Rendon and Cabrera go a combined 4 for 8 so far today. As we mentioned earlier, he's on base now 17 times last 20 games. And for a guy who bats 8th almost every day, that's outstanding. So here is the center fielder, Bryce Harper. Hit the ball extremely hard, right center gap last time. Ozuna ran it down. Tell you, the Marlins are 2 good outfield plays away from being down by 4 or 5 runs in this game. The Nats have hit the ball hard enough to score a whole lot more today. In the dirt, smothered by Salt Telemakia. So Craig Stammen up and throwing. So maybe it is not a Tyler Clippard 8th inning day. Strasburg is at 84 pitches, 55 strikes. Good take by Bryson, a curveball, 2-1. In the series, Harper 4 for 12. 3-hit night here on Thursday. 2 singles, a double. Anthony DeSclafani for the Marlins. Next 2 batters, of course, the lefties, Harper and LaRoche. And Harper with a foul tip stays alive. Mercedes-Benz tracks the AB.
Pretty good hacks.
Yeah, good at bat. Good battle. Cubs just scored in the bottom of the second. Dodgers got 2 in the first. 2-1 LA. Right now the Dodgers trying to stay ahead of St. Louis. Just 1 win ahead of them.
Well, if the Nats hold on here and the Cubs find a way to win that one.
Whoa. Yeah, it'd be 3.5 with 7 to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we'd have a different kind of magic number to be talking about. So there it is. 2.5 by the Nats for best record right now. 3.5 over St. Louis. Giants Pirates battling for wild card, it appears. Giants started this day 3.5 back of the Dodgers in the West. And the Pirates 3.5 back in the Central. Three, 2, 1 out again instead of throw over. It's 3-2. They've been having issues with their balls and strikes on the scoreboard today. I think before Rendon stepped in the first inning, it was already 2-2. So they've been scuffling today.
Day game after night game. Probably had a rough Saturday night.
Yeah.
South Beach. Yeah.
Harper on a big curveball strikes out. Bryce 1 for 4 today. Second strikeout by Andrew Heaney.
Remember, our Washington, D.C. Lexus dealers are donating $250 to the Children's National Medical Center for every home run a Nats player hits this season. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection.
Home run leader, Desmond 2 behind. Nats have hit 147 this year, 4th most in the National League. LaRoche 88 RBIs. Desmond just behind him.
Couple base hits on your birthday, you get the day off. Desmond turned 29, celebrated with a few base hits last night.
And Gio had a birthday earlier in the week. Brian Zimmerman next week.
There's all kinds of birds in here. And they're doves, I believe. Or is that I think that could be a red-tailed hawk. Yeah, that is.
Well, they're waiting for the crowd to clear out for dinner and then for the roof to open so they can go take it easy on the beach. 1-1 to LaRoche. He got jammed. And a pop-up out to left. Echeverria. And that's it for the Nats in the top of the 8th inning. Strasburg or bullpen. Stammen's been warming up. 2-0 Washington.
Miller Lite, we are going to show you a bunch of Anthony Rendon defensive plays today. When you are standing behind Steven Strasburg, I don't know if you're thinking it's going to be one of those Doug Fister days where you get a bunch of chances. Steven lead the National League in strikeouts, so not always a lot of opportunities to field ground balls. Day game after night game, Anthony Rendon always ready to play, and he answers the test on a bunch of nifty plays down third base. So the defense helping Steven out big time today. But I like the new tempo by Strasburg. Didn't talk about it a lot in today's game, but he's kept the pace going. We saw a better tempo with Gio his last start. And they're incorporating the defense. They're making great plays.
6 assists for Anthony Rendon, and Craig Stammen takes over for the 8th.
Yeah, two-seam fastball, slider curve.
Craig had a 1-2-3 inning here on Thursday night. He did pitch the 8th inning, retired Yelich, Solano, and Ozuna. It's Saltalamacchia, Hernandez, and Echeverria today. He went up first pitch swinging. He's 0 for 4 career against Craig Stammen with 3 Ks. So Strasburg 7 shutout innings on 2 hits. Walked 2. Those were early. 5 strikeouts. 84 pitches, 55 strikes. Strike 2, 79, breaking right back in. Ross Detweiler. Saltalamacchia reaching on 0-2. And in the dirt, just great stuff from Craig Stammen. Getting ahead. And how about a look back at Steven Strasburg's day?
Oh, speaking of great stuff, Steven Strasburg settled in nicely to this baseball game. Gave his manager and his ball club 7 unbelievable shutout innings. Gave up just 3 hits, struck out 5 Marlins. But once again, the fastball. It was all about the fastball. Talk about the changeup and the curve for out pitches all you want. They're fantastic, but the confidence in the fastball and the way he's thrown it for strikes lately have been very, very impressive.
Kike Hernandez. Well, the walks were early. 1 each of the first 2 innings. The double play balls took care of that. 13 ground ball outs, fueled by those double plays.
It's our last chance for a foul ball this year, you know.
Sit down.
I thought that was coming.
That was nowhere near getting up here.
Was headed in the right direction.
I'd hate to be a center fielder with you next to me. Ball hawk and everything.
We actually used to run over in Montreal, and when the off outfielder called it, we'd come right up next to him and scream as loud as we could. Drop it, miss it, right in his ear. And all of us would do it to each other. Rondell White, Cliff Floyd, and everybody camped underneath a routine fly ball. We would run over and scream at each other to miss it.
Camaraderie, it's what it's all about at the big league level. Wow, that pitch up and in, and Hernandez certainly reacting as if he took it off the hand. That was an 0-2 pitch.
Little sinker kind of gets away from Stammen.
And Hernandez kind of turning into it.
Back arm, right by the elbow, maybe the forearm.
Well, here's Echeverria. Echeverria. A couple of balls to Rendon today, including a bunt 2 innings ago when Anthony came flying in, made a fantastic play to retire him. Tough guy to double up. At least you would think so. He's hit into 19 double plays this year. Echeverria, a lot of one hoppers at people because he can run. And you saw Reed Johnson for now on deck. They've used Garrett Jones, who hasn't batted yet, but he's in right field. They have one other left-handed bat on the bench, Jordani Valdespie. Nice slider. And he had Echeverria pulling off at 1 ball, 1 strike. .91, a little low. Matt Kemp is in his 23rd homer. Dodgers 2 more in the 3rd. They lead at Chicago 4-1.
Think there'll be any Nats fans at the ballpark tonight when we get home?
I wondered about that.
I think that'd be cool. 9:30, something like that. If everything goes as planned. He's telling his friends to come right now. He said the guys would love to see some fans at the ballpark tonight when they get home. When the bus pulls in.
Two to the shortstop. Stammen with a slider that just missed. Paul Schreiber appealing, and Alfonso Marquez said no swing. Good speed at first, good speed in the batter's box.
I don't think down by 2 you start the runner here, especially on a team as conservative with the stolen base as the Marlins. But you never know. Like I said, 19 double plays.
Yeah. Hernandez very inexperienced at the big league level. He's holding. And a bouncer. Stammen couldn't get it. And then it goes right to Espinosa. How about that for a 1-6-3 double play? Is it your week or not?
All the bounces go the Nats' way. Great play by Danny Espinosa, the 20th double play for Echeverria. But watch Espinosa. There was a little English on that ball. Not a problem.
guys remember us. By the time the Nats come home on Tuesday night, after winning 2 years ago and getting one this year, it'll be almost 2 weeks since we've been there. Tanner Roark will be on the mound against Bartolo Colon to get that series underway. Tanner Roark in that game on Tuesday will be going for his 15th win of the year. Nats Extra, 6:30. Back to our at-home routine. Can't wait. Final week of the season. Top of the ninth, and the left-hander Andrew Heaney still out there for the Marlins. He's retired. 6 out of 7 batters kept this game close for them. And now Kevin Franzen faces him for the first time. Kevin, a tough luck 0 for 3 today. Robbed of a double, maybe a triple by Kike Hernandez back in the 4th. And a ball ripped up the middle. Backhand stop Solano. Well played, 1 out.
And visit the official online shop of Major League Baseball at nationals.com/shop for the largest online selection of authentic Major League Baseball postseason gear. You can also find that gear at the Nationals Clubhouse Team Store at Nats Park. Visit nationals.com/store for special extended hours this weekend.
Here's Danny Espinosa. He'll bat right-handed, first time today. And that breaking ball chasing him inside. Managed to get out of the way. Ball 2. Now the bullpen has a different look. Jerry Blevins is up, and then Soriano behind him and looking to the ninth. They had Reed Johnson on deck. Then the top of the order is Yelich, the lefty, Solano, the right-hander, before McGee, the right-hander. So Matt Williams may go situational to close this one out. And if the first batter is a right-handed hitter, I guess Craig Stammen would be a candidate to stay in. He just threw 14 pitches, 10 strikes to get that 8th inning out of the way.
Yeah, not sure. We shall see.
Two. Fastball up and in. Up the middle again. Solano behind this one gets rid of it in a hurry. 2 down. Nationals baseball on Masson, brought to you by New York Life and the agent of the game.
That is a great white shark. Pretty sure. Wait, now they're telling me it's a beluga whale. I'm in between.
I'm just glad he didn't eat our New York agent of the game. And this ball hit out to short off the bat of Jose Lobaton. And here we go, bottom of the 9th. Choices ahead for Matt Williams. The Nationals 2-0, 3 outs away from a sweep. Who isn't? After we show you Bryce Harper, who has moved to left, or pardon me, to left from center, and then Michael Taylor, who's in to play center field. Starting the ninth inning on the mound will be Rafael Soriano. They're trying to make as much noise as they can here in Miami.
Well, it's been a while since he's been out there for a save opportunity. He's trying to protect a sweep. He's trying to protect Steven Strasburg's 13th win of the year and keep the Nats with the best record in the National League ahead of the Dodgers. So a lot at stake here for Soriano, back in the saddle.
Well, he had a 1-2-3 ninth inning here in a non-save situation, 6-2 ball game on Thursday night. Reed Johnson will hit against Soriano. And Reed Johnson, career making an out the other night against him, is 0 for 4 against the Nats right-hander. And the curveball, 76, missing low.
Yeah, pre-All-Star break, Soriano with a 0.97 ERA. Post-All-Star break, hasn't been the same story, 6.65. Been working on his mechanics. And he's kind of wondering where that one missed.
Two and 0. And the fastball, 89 right in there. First sign of trouble, there will be a change. As mentioned earlier, Yelich, just because Soriano's coming in here doesn't mean he'll finish the ninth inning. I wonder if he got a batter, if they might go lefty against Yelich. And Reed Johnson drills one to deep left field. Harper back, can't get to it at the 386 mark. And Reed Johnson has his second double of this series. Bryce wasn't playing terribly deep, and he had a long, long way to go.
Reed Johnson has his second double of the series, and he should have 2 homers. He hit one off the 418 mark in center field last night, turned into a home run, so to speak, with a couple of errors. And then he starts the ninth inning off with a booming double to one of the deepest parts of the park. And you come into a major league game, move positions, the ball finds you. I'm sure everybody okay that Bryce Harper didn't challenge the wall right there.
Well, Soriano stays in and faces a left-handed batter who represents the tying run. Remember, one of his biggest nightmares of this season was the blown save here back in late July.
I mean, no longer pitching to get back into the closer's role, might be pitching to make the postseason roster.
Yeah,
that's as honest as I could be.
He gave up 4 in the ninth here, Monday, July 28th, in a 7-6 Nationals loss. Yelich to center. Michael Taylor is there. Reed Johnson tags and goes to third. No big deal, but look at that throw.
Wow. Michael Taylor showing off the arm right there. Watch this throw. We heard he could throw. We haven't really seen it yet. And Reed Johnson running for his life. One hopper. Yeah, show it off. Nothing else to do.
1 out. Runner at third does not matter. It's Donovan Solano against Soriano. And Solano is 2 for 3 career against him. Remember, on a fly ball, there are great arms, and now in center field as well. And that ball drilled to right center. Schierholtz is there. Run will score, 2 down, and 1 out to end the ball game and the series. I mean, they are teeing off on Soriano. It'll be the right-hander against Casey McGee, who's 1 for 2 career against him. They're not waiting around either. Things are happening quickly here. So now it's Matt Thornton with Ryan Matthews. just in case Justin Bour, well, maybe Garrett Jones before him make it to the batter's box. If McGee gets aboard here, Soriano's done. Front door breaking ball, a strike. Casey McGee drills one to left, and Bryce Harper has it. The Nationals sweep the series as Soriano gives up some rockets in the ninth, and Washington holds on to win 2-1.
Had it played perfectly. Nice play by Bryce Harper. That's not an easy play. We showed you the bank of lights that are here at Marlins Park over the dugout. He had to negotiate that. So a bunch of bullets off the Marlins bats here in the ninth, but they only put one across the board. The Nats sweep. 91st win of the year. And folks, they are rolling. Enjoy this ride. This is special.
Soriano, somehow, his 32nd save of the year. We're coming home. Can't wait to see you all on Tuesday. And the Nats come home as champions. They come home with a 9-2 road trip. One of the best ever. Join us Tuesday night. Nats Extra 6:30. This has been a massive presentation. Johnny and Ray, right now from Florida. See you later.